with Arnold Dean. Hot talk, great guests. Weeknights at 6:15 from WTIC, Hartford.
CBC Radio, Canada's public broadcast.
Try Carter's Little Liver Pill. Good advice.
Good mornings only on KCMO Kansas City. It's 8 o'clock.
When you're tuned to CBS Radio.
This is the DX Central from the Static Podcast.
From Studio B of the Northshore Studios in Mandeville, Louisiana.
And welcome to another edition of the DX Central from the Static Podcast. I'm your host, Lloyd Van Horn, here in Studio B of the Northshore Studios in Mandeville, Louisiana, where we bring you another edition of DX Central Re-Live, our audio-only version of our Friday night live stream. This for Season 6, Episode number 11. And another great episode. We're kind of winding down here into the holiday season, so didn't have as much packed in as we usually do, but definitely a lot of DX time here in this episode, which is going to be great for you guys in the podcast. Hour one, we did, though, talk about and try to do a little demonstration of the RSPduo and diversity mode using our low noise vertical antenna and W6 LVP loop. Now, we weren't super successful in getting some phasing. I have a feeling that might be due to some things we need to tweak on our loop antenna, feed line, and stuff like that, but we gave it a shot here in the episode. Didn't have a lot of success, but we'll keep working on trying to improve that and practice more at that. We also did wrap up our country challenge in hour one and launch our new one, the daytime challenge, here for this week. Hour number two, we talked a little bit about DXpeditions and some of the things you need to do when you kind of prepare to go on these trips if you're going to take your DX with you, having backups and all that kind of stuff. So you're not going to want to miss that if you're planning any kind of trips this holiday season. If you have some time off here at the end of the year, beginning of the year, you want to take your DX on the road, this is a very beneficial thing for you to hear, because you're going to want to make sure you have a couple things handy if you're going to be out and about doing your DX portable. Tons of shout outs, lots and lots of big shout outs in this episode. So a lot to get to here. So let's sit back, relax, and take us with you wherever you might be. If you're out and about running last minute errands for the holidays or for the beginning of the new year, or if you just want to sit back and relax and take some DX alongside with you, we got DX Central Live coming up for you right here on the DX Central Re-Live on the From the Static podcast.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
It was the night before Christmas, and all through the shack, not a signal was stirring. The bands had gone slack. The radios were tuned with precision and care, in hopes that some DX soon would be there. The logbooks were nestled, ready to be used in an instant, with visions of call signs, exotic and distant. I and my headphones with the dials aglow had just settled in for the DXing show. When on the band there arose such a clatter, I sprang into action to identify the chatter. Away to my dials I tuned with a flash. I tightened my filters to knock out the hash. The static on the band, so quiet and slight, gave a hope of rare stations on this festive night. When what to my wondering ears should I hear but a faint station ID, yet still so distinct and so clear. Among sports and talk stations, as if some form of mercy, I knew in a moment this must be New Jersey. As if from the graveyard more signals they came, while I whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Idaho, now Oregon, now New Hampshire and Vermont. On to Peru, on to Ecuador, all the places I want. To the top of the dial, to the bottom, don't stall. DX, DX, DX for us all. The ionosphere helped the signals to fly as they met with a layer and bounced from the sky. So too up the antenna the waves they did move, with a load of new stations all ready to prove. And then in a twinkling, I heard on the air the prancing and dancing of signals so rare. As I leaned in closer, adjusting the gain, in came a station from far off Maine. The modulation was clean, with sweeps and Morse code, its content welcomed in this humble abode. And as IDs played back to back, I scribbled down my notes, quick as a jack. My headphones tight grip I could not let go for fear of missing out in this rare DX show. With a twinkle in my eye and a beat of my heart, each distant voice felt like a fine work of art. Spoke not a word, kept straight to my work, logging each station with a satisfied smirk. Finally, I laid down my pen beside the great log, switched off the radio, and I patted the dog. And then sprang to my feet, my heart full of delight, wishing a merry DX to all, and to all a good night.
Setting frequencies right. AM and FM, the airwaves collide. DX Central Live, where the signals can't hide. Tuning in the static, chasing down the sounds. Every single signal is magic we have found. All radios hum, the chatters all agree. DX Central Live is the place to be. Folks in the chat, shout out your call. From east to west, we're breaking down the walls. It's the magic of the night, where frequencies fly. Join us now on DX Central Live.
From the Gulf South
to your corner of the world,
this is DX Central Live.
Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
From the Northshore Studios here in beautiful Mandeville, Louisiana, it is DX Central Live, Season 6, Episode number 11, my friends. And a happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you all, as we are now less than a week. Big day. Hopefully this finds you in the festive spirit, at the very least, festive for DX. Today was my last day of the year at my day job. So guess what? The next 2 weeks... antenna projects. Non-stop antenna projects, trips to the hardware store, videos, script writing for the podcast. It's going to be a busy 2 weeks. It's going to go like that. Definitely going to be a busy one for us. Hopefully, again, you've had a good week at DX, and there's been a little bit of southern enhancement to the band on the AM side of things. Not a ton. I did also see that our friend Bill up in Nebraska was getting a little flirting of maybe some winter ease up in his neck of the woods, and both on TV and on the FM band. And I know 6 meters has been bumping a bit, so that's good to see. Maybe on the FM side of things, we might have some good skip on the way. So we will talk a bit about that probably, I'm sure. Some things to talk about tonight. I got my RSPduo up and running this week, and have tied that together with our 35-foot vertical and a W6 LVP loop. And so we're going to demonstrate diversity mode in SDR Connect so you can see for yourself how that works. Now, that RSPduo is going to be going over to Shortwave Central here probably this weekend or sometime soon as we construct our big, hopefully 50, 60 foot plus low noise vertical over there and a W6 LVP loop over there. So I'm hoping to be able to get that one up and running. If not this weekend, then maybe this next week. And get the RSPduo and running over there. The Duo will be replaced over here with an MFJ phaser, or maybe my Langford Mizek, I haven't decided. But a phaser, so we can do live manipulation and fading, or phasing as we are here. Eventually with an eye on Linrad. I started reading some of the documentation that Jeff Emmel and some other folks sent over. So started kind of diving into that a little bit, looking into it. And it looks intense, but it looks like something that we can probably spend some time on and learn and use that with our RSPduo and stuff like that. So some options. We're also going to talk a bit about, let's see what else. We have a new challenge to announce tonight. We're going to be wrapping up the country challenge, and you guys have been crushing it with the country challenge. So So we're going to talk a bit about that. In fact, our first DX session we're about to do here in a few moments, we're going to do some more country hunting using some of our beacon frequencies just to kind of check out the propagation and see how things sound down south. In hour number 2, we're going to talk a bit about DX wish list for the new year, kind of a look forward. Next week, we'll do a look back. This week, we're going to do a little bit of a look forward. We'll talk about our DX wish list and what we might have coming up from there. And obviously, let us know your wish list. What wish list? What's on yours? What do you want to hear in the coming year? And we're also going to talk about DXpeditions. Our friend Sean Kutzko has inspired me. He is on a DXpedition right now into southern Illinois. And on a big farm with a 500-foot bog antenna. So he's inspired me. I have a like 200 and something acre farm here, about 12, 15 minutes away from the house here. And they have a VRBO cabin over there. And I'm like, I might want to do that. So maybe some bogs, maybe some beverages. I don't know, some decals, some cas. I haven't decided. But that brought up the idea or the concept of when you do these DXpeditions, how do you kind of go about it? How do you plan it? What do you do? And so we're going to talk a bit about that because this is the time of the year when we start kind of thinking about some of that kind of stuff, right? People have a desire to get out and maybe go camping a little bit if it's not too bad cold and snowy. But get out, get themselves away from noise and things like that and go do some DX. I did it here, was it 5 years ago? It feels like 5, 6 years ago, 4 years ago, somewhere there, to the Outer Banks on the beach, and it was awesome. And so we're going to talk about that in hour 2. Also, obviously, your shout-outs. A lot of shout-outs to get to. But first, it's time for some DX. Now, this DX session is brought to you by IRCA, ircaonline.org.
DX Central Live, top of the hour alert.
That's right. Top of the hour time frame means we are looking for IDs. We're looking to the south right now. So let's take a tour of the band. We're on our southern CAS antenna. This is the big one, the Kiwi CAS, which is about to get a companion this weekend. That is definitely one of the things happening this weekend. I've got the splitter. I've got everything I need. We're putting an AirSpy HF Plus Discovery on this antenna, splitting that into the Kiwi and the AirSpy so we can do broadband recordings on this antenna. I cannot wait. Let's check first with Radio Monumental. Oops, we did the wrong button there. 1510 on your radio dial. That sounds pretty good. That's Ecuador. That's not too bad. Now let's look at Colombia. I had them in here earlier. Gotta go radio. I think that's Caracol Radio. Check 770 though, real quick. There's our storms. They're bringing these lightning crashes. Mamacita.
Noche de viernes, noche de libros en Aquí y Ahora. Mi nombre es Levi, @libro al aire, y estoy absolutamente feliz de poderlos saludar y también invitar que es maravilloso como mujer joven, inteligente y que habla uno de los temas que más me gustan, son la filosofía. Filosofía que trae otras cosas al amor, lo cual quiere decir que es una doble promesa de interés en esta entrevista.
Let's just check. I don't know if we're going to hear anything. Let's just see if Peru, with how good Ecuador was coming in. Let's check Peru. And pull up their live stream and go with it. Oh, they're in there. is in there?
La pentecostal la cosecha. La voz. Programa que orienta tu vida.
Call Northshore today at 779.
Mano nuestro.
Kelly Clarkson, and is the daughter of a school teacher.
And here comes Kaay. So it's been lately where when Little Rock is in, Peru goes down. When Little Rock goes away, here comes Peru. We just need Little Rock to,
whether it's a foreign language, history, or a different way to look at things. Take some time each day to learn something new. This message is courtesy of the United States
in there.
Air Force.
Weak.
Hi there, Scott from Pentatonics. So from the beginning
Let's take a look at 1510.
The foundation has been
Radio Santa Rosa.
It's so incredible.
You have a hit. 100.135 is their offset. Let's see what we can see. There it is. Splatter from LAC in here. If I can find a live stream here for him, so we can match up some audio.
Vía Facebook, ¿no? Fue vía Facebook,
claro, sí, así es.
No, me contaba.
Oh wow! Look at that. They have.
No podía acompañar. Estimado Sebastián, cuenta, no sé si es anécdota o principio de cómo te inicias en esto.
Stream pulled up here.
Bueno, yo tenía la costumbre de grabar con un pequeño celular las guardadas. Mucho aprecio hasta el día de hoy.
I don't think the audio that I'm hearing is them. Obviously, you see the trace is in and out. We'll keep an eye on that one, though, to see if we can come back around to that. But the trace is there. San Andres y Providencia. Let's check for Panama. This is Radio Adventistas who we're looking for here. Using our beacon list, I'm going to pull up their live stream. Oh, come on. I can't get that stream to work either. Backup. Not working. Let's check really quick for Radio Reforma out of Panama. We have to throw this in the lower sideband. Live stream from Panama Radio Reforma on 860.
Lisbeth Gobea Burgos, felicitaciones.
They're in there. Heard the accordion. Down there in the bottom, there's a little bit. Rick asked, which station is it?
A veces el mejor presente es estar presente. Escuchas SBS Radio.
Pretty sure this is Mexico here. Rick is wanting to know who is what station, what frequency is it? The preacher, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. That is these guys. They're on 1090. Radio Vision in Peru. We did have them a few moments ago. Here's their live stream.
¿Cómo se llama usted?
Yo soy Luis Alberto
That's
Sánchez.
Pastor Rodríguez.
¿De dónde viene?
De acá de Chiclayo.
Y ahora sí, yo salí aquí la iglesia pentecostal cosecho.
Ah, ese es un Chiclayo.
Miércoles 19 de noviembre de 2025. ¿Ya sanó?
Sí.
Somebody's got some Spanish Christmas music in there. Jingle bells. Okay. Real Vision might be in there still, but they've been kind of in and out a little bit. So we'll keep an eye out for them here this evening as we go along. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we've got DX to talk about. We've got to do some live DX while we do a little demonstration of our RSPduo and the 2 antenna setup with the vertical and the loop. We got a ton of shout outs to get to tonight, so we're going to dive into those. We're going to say bye-bye to the country challenge and say hello to a brand new one. So a lot to get to. Don't go anywhere, my friend. More DX Central Live. I'll tell you what, we're coming up right after this, so you don't want to go anywhere.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
the clouds above. Rain turns my signal, chasing what I love.
From the DX Central Northshore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
Drops hit my face.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in beautiful Mandeville, Louisiana. Just a little ways that way from the shores of Lake Pontchartrain. Actually, it's like from over here all the way over there. It's a big swath. The lake is. It's very large. In case you couldn't tell from the maps, it's a very large lake. We bring you live DX conversations, shout-outs, challenges, all kinds of stuff every Friday night at 0045 UTC. That's 1845 Central Time here on DX Central Live and our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@DXCentral. We've got a bunch of shout-outs to get to. I want to just jump right in. Let's do it.
Shout out loud, hear the call for every signal, big or small, from AM to FM, from sea to sea. We celebrate the ones who snag your ID. Shout out loud, let it be known, you're never DXing all alone. Through the static we found our way. Shout outs making waves today.
The maiden. And they were loud, Kaz. That 770. I know you got BBM to contend with there. They were loud. Well, whenever it was that I posted those clips, it was loud here. I mean, I was starting to fall asleep in bed, and it woke me up how loud they were. When I heard El Condor Pass, I was like, all right, bunch of shout outs to get to. You can still get yours in. DXchallenges.com/shoutout. I want to hear what you've been hearing. New countries, new states, new logs, new gear, milestones achieved, goals achieved, shout outs to other members of the DX community, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to talk about. AM, FM, non-directional beacons, shortwave, ham radio, whatever you've been hearing. We want to hear about it and celebrate with you and give you the high five and, of course, the horn of victory. That apparently a lot of you that watch that have your children in the room or nearby, that's very popular with the kids. So good to hear. All right, then. Let's start off with our friend Rick up in Nebraska. Rick says 4 new loggings to report since last Friday evening. In chronological order, they are to be SGI 1100 Springfield, Tennessee, KJCW. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. 1100 Webb City, Missouri. KREB 1190 Gentry, Arkansas. Glad we got that one sorted out, man. Glad you got that one sorted out. And thanks to the tip from Manhattan, Kansas DXer Matt Sattel. WLXG 1300 Lexington, Kentucky. 15 new logs so far this season. But the big news this week was the acquisition of a 4-element Stellar Labs Yagi and the desktop version of the TEF 6686 radio. Nice combination. Although it's going to be a few months away yet, I'm now ready and raring to go for the 2026 FM season. All right, so first, let's get you those logs sawed here because we got some new logs in here for you, man. Yeah, Kaz, that's one. That's on my list of ones that I kind of look at whenever conditions are pretty good. In fact, we'll probably check it tonight here on our next DX session. Look for that .1 on 1100 because that would give me 4 from Peru, which would be very nice. To go from only 1 ever to 4 would be really, really happy for me. I'd be really, really happy. But we have to celebrate first. We have to celebrate Rick and this acquisition of gear. Now, before we do that, so yes, we are a little ways away from the FMDX season. As we get closer, you guys that have been here a couple of years, we start really ramping up the talk about eSkip season and Trapo and FM and everything else. So that's just right around the corner. But 2 things for Rick and anyone else who dabbles in the FM arts. eSkip season, winter eSkip season is upon us. So at any minute, any day between now and like the first 2 weeks of January or so, maybe even towards the end of January. I think a couple years ago, got like 22nd, I think. So basically, over the next month and a half or so, at any moment, we could see a sporadic opening here in North America. The reason for that is down south, it's their peak. It's middle of summer down in the southern hemisphere. When they get their peak, we get a little spillover sometimes. Not all the time. It's usually not very big. It's usually not a lot of people, but it's something. And somebody usually gets something somewhere. So keep an eye out. Make sure you've got your FM list maps popped up, your alerts turned on, all the different things that you might normally use for FM season during the summer. Let's get that active. Make sure you got your antennas connected. Everything's working. If you have an RDS autologger, make sure that's reporting and everything's good. Because at the last minute, you may just have an opening pop up and you don't want to miss it, because these wintertime openings are fun. The other thing, too, is this is a really, really good time. I'm really glad that Rick got this antenna and this gear in, because this is a fantastic time of the year as we get into January and February when conditions are otherwise dead. This is the perfect time of the year to do what? The dead band scan. Yes. You want to do at least one of these every year. If you have new gear like he does, new antennas, new radios, things like that, a couple of these is not going to hurt, because it refamiliarizes yourself with the band. You can log, all your stations kind of on a spreadsheet. So what I do, I just go every single frequency and I notate, is there anything there? If there is, what did I hear? How strong were they? What format were they in? Was there RDS? If so, what was the code? Like, I log all that detail. And then if there wasn't anything, then I log what my noise floor was on the frequency, so I can kind of keep an eye out for that kind of stuff. So we're going to talk about that as we get in January and February. I'm going to show you guys my band scan chart that I keep and all the stuff that I do to kind of track that, which might be a little bit over the top, but can't tell you how many times that has saved my butt and made sure that I knew exactly what my local band sounded like. So we'll talk more again about that as we get a little bit closer in. But we have some new gear for our friend Rick. Perfect timing on his part, getting that gear in here. So, there we go. New Yagi. That Yagi, by the way, will serve you well, man. I had one. I would still be using it today in some capacity. I've added to it over the years, but I would still be using it today had it not taken a fall and broke off some of the elements. So then I use that for parts for an omnidirectional antenna that I have to put up at some point at Shortwave Central. But yeah, that antenna will do you well. It got me a ton of DX, Charleston and here, ton of DX. So well done to our friend Rick. Next up on the list, we go to Mr. Dan Massey in Texas. Dan captured 2 New Mexican states, Michoacan and Guanajuato. Hope that's right. That's just a guess. Picked up 770 XEML on 246 UTC, 788 miles. Also 810 XEEMM. Salamanca, 202 UTC, 669 miles. Puts me at 15 Mexican states, 17 more to go. Printed out the city index pages from the IRCA Mexican log, which are organized by state, and highlighted likely targets based on multiple factors: power, grayline, azimuth, competing stations. Has helped me to focus my efforts. Fantastic. We're going to talk about our article that's coming up here in the January edition of the Spectrum Monitor magazine that talks about that very topic. We have a podcast episode we're going to do with it as well. But that gets me excited when I read people doing that kind of stuff. So well done, Dan. We got to get you the log first because you got some new stuff in the log book. And that New Mexican state as well, man. All right, man. Well done. Congratulations. I think I've one of those. I might not have one of those. I need to do some focused efforts on my side to remedy that. Next up, we've got our friend Stephanie out in Palm Desert. Stephanie out in the state of
California.
Hey, Lloyd, I have a hockey game tonight. It's almost, it's the annual teddy bear toss game, so I won't be on for long tonight, but I did want to submit these new logs based on my grayline DXing at the Hacienda. This is, again, another example of getting out of a DX rut and DXing at a day part that I hadn't previously DXed with any regularity at all. Which is going to be a theme for this week's challenge, by the way. We're going to mix it up this week. A little preview for you. 1230 KELY, Nevada, 1216, December 16th. Commercial spots were gold and silver. 1 featured Dennis Prager. Top of hour, KELY, noted by a male. 4, 250 watts, 389 miles. That's for Nevada, number 21. I want some more Nevada. Share. 1260 KKOO in Idaho. KKOO in Idaho. Loud at times, still on day power after local sunset with the Monkeys tune I'm a Believer. Written by Neil. And Mitch Ryder's Devil with the Blue Dress on. Male DJ mentioned 101.5 Cool FM. Top 5 at 5. Love doing that kind of stuff. Also got a complete top of hour ID at 0100. Up attached, still on day power of 8.4 kilowatts past local sunset, 712 miles, 712 miles. Idaho number 17. Yet again proving location. 17 stations from Idaho. And I can't rub two nickels together. 1450 KVSI Montpelier, Idaho. Mentions of high school sports coverage. Several 104.5 The Wave mentions. Contemporary Christian-themed Christmas carols and a tune by Wynn Starks. Parallel to the stream, 1 kilowatt, 651 miles for Idaho number 18. And Washington number 25. Aberdeen, 1450 KBKW. Male preacher, host of a call-in show, quoting several Bible references in his remarks. Caller, 1 kilowatt, 990 miles. But, the big one for Stephanie this one she credits directly to the WaveView DX tool. 1593 kilohertz. China National Radio, CNR1. China with clear top-of-hour time pips into a female host speaking in Chinese with what sounded like a news report. 400 kilowatts, 6,610 miles. That's a new log and a new country for our friend Stephanie. So we've got logs to saw. Sean, that's mean, but it's fun. Yeah, because I don't have any. I have one South Dakota too. So I'm kind of like I want more of those. It's always that stuff that we can't get to, right? Location, like you guys probably look at some of the Latin American stuff that we get here because of our location where it is, and you're probably like, man, that'd be nice. Well, I would love to be getting to New Jersey and Delaware and New England and Pacific Northwest, and there's always going to be that stuff that's just right out of reach. One of us wants that, the other one's like, I got more of those than I can handle. Here, give me some of this. So the great DX trade would be something really nice if we could find a way to pull that off. New country for our friend Stephanie. Imagine if we could trade DX catches. That was a thing, like trading baseball cards. You couldn't give a WLW away. And let's see, was there anything else in there we had to get in? Got those. We have the clip here, which we'll play. We'll come back to play that here in a few moments. Well done, Stephanie. Let's see. We've got David Flotman. We got Jerry. We got Sean. We got Barry. We got Dave. We got John. We got Aiden, and we got Stuart left. It is 30 after. Okay. Let's get a couple more in here. Jerry Hart up in New York says, not much this time. Did get WDZY 1290 in Colonial Heights, Virginia. 1600 WKKX, Wheeling, West Virginia. and WNYY 1470 in Ithaca, New York. All new for our friend Jerry. Outstanding, man. Yeah, I can dive into South and North Dakota and Minnesota a little bit, kind of dip my hands in there, but New England, man, New England and Oregon, those are my weak spots right now, where I have a blind spot, and anything transoceanic at all. Like, I don't know if I'm too far south, I'm too far in the middle of the country, I don't know, but transatlantic, transpacific stuff eludes me here. I've got one log from Algeria, and that is it. Well done to our friend Jerry, my friend. Let me give you another horn of victory in there, and let's do one more, and then we'll wrap up this round. We'll do the rest in round two. Thursday, heard Tex Arcana mentioned in the static and went to Stan. And I'm sorry, this is for David Flotman in Missouri. I completely missed out what I was talking about. David Flotman in Missouri says, on 2:50 Thursday, heard Tex Arcana mentioned in the static, went to stand in the south-facing window with my portable radio, and was able to make out a commercial for the Tex Arcana Media Center, owner of KCMC 740 Texarkana, Texas, 396 miles for a new log at 680 watts, assuming that they were on day power. All right, so new log for our friend David. Well done, man. Here you go. Fantastic work, man. You still have time to get your shout outs in. dxchallenges.com/shoutout. We'll get to the rest in the next hour. Let's go ahead and play really quick the clip from Stephanie, though, from her log. This is for KKOO 1260. We're going to hear here.
Weezer, Boise, KCMC HD2, Melba, broadcasting from the Snake River Pool and Spa Studio. Snake River Pool and Spa. They make it easy. Take it easy. 101.5. Cool FM.
Nice. Weezer, Boise, Idaho. I don't know if that's is there an Idaho accent? I don't even know if they have an accent. Well done, Stephanie. So yeah, we'll come back, and on deck next we have Stuart, we have Aiden, we have John Johnson in Arizona, got David Pete in Maine, Barry out in Tennessee, and Sean Kutzko in Illinois. Some really good shout outs in here, so we're gonna really cram those in here the next hour. But again, dxchallenges.com/shoutout. If you want to get yours in, you still have plenty of. Next, let's talk about the RSPduo. Now, I've talked about this from an FM standpoint. And using it to null out stations on FM using diversity mode. I don't think we've done one from AM yet that I can remember. And we have a new setup with it now. We have our 35-foot vertical and our low noise vertical antenna, and then we have a W6 LVP loop. And so let's see how it does. And so I played with this a little bit last night when I hooked it up, but I wanted to do some more work with it tonight. And so we're actually going to do a little live DX early on here as we look with the RSPduo. But first, I do want to kind of give you the lay of the land, how to use diversity mode on the RSPduo. So let me go ahead and start this up. And we're going to go... Oh, not that one. That website thingy. Top screen. Oop. We're going to add the bottom screen. Give me a second to add the bottom screen in. Like that. You can see here in a second. There we go. All right. So here is, this is SDR Connect. You can also do this with SDR Uno, in case you prefer the software. I go back and forth. Sometimes I like Connect better. Sometimes I like Uno better. Neither one are at the top of my list. I'll be very transparent and honest here. Neither one of these pieces of software are at the top of my list of favorite SDR programs, but they're good for what they are. So there's some things about them that I like, some things about them I don't. So when you come in normally with these RSPduos, what you would have to do is you have to choose. Now you have two independent antenna tuners on the RSPduo. So there are two independent tuners built into this thing. Now it differs like an RSPDX. With the RSPDX, you have two antenna inputs here, right? Here's the antenna A and here's antenna B. So with the DX, the RSPDX, what you're doing is you're switching between these two antenna inputs, but they're still going to the same receiver inside the SDR. RSPduo, it's two antenna inputs, but there are two receivers, basically. So we want to think about two tuners inside. And so what we were able to do here is I can switch between the two of them. I can come over here and I can say, okay, give me, right now I'm on antenna 2, which I believe is the loop. Then I can go to antenna 1. Yep, that's the vertical. You see how much higher those signals are with the vertical? So that line where everything just started glowing, that is the vertical. So we can switch back and forth between the two, just like we can on the RSPDX. But here's the difference. If I want to now combine the two of these and use them so I can use diversity and or phasing here, here's how this works. I go over here in SDR Connect and I go to the little device settings cogwheels up here next to where we actually use like the play button and choose. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I hope you guys didn't lose me there because it said that it lost connection on OBS Studio. So, okay. Looks like everything's still good though, from what I can tell. All right. So when you do that, you have a little, a panel down here, and I don't think you can really see it all that well here. With the way we have the, let me roll this up. Okay. Down here, you'll see this little target looking deal here. Now that target looking deal may not be there. It may just be a blank thing that says diversity is not enabled, even after you've just enabled it. So if that happens, you just click on like this recording or IQ playback or whatever, and then go back and click on diversity and it should be there. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. It's software. I've stopped trying to figure out software and why things happen the way they do sometimes. So normally what you'd be looking at would be like your little pointer here, this little red icon here would be in the middle. That is basically, you're not adding any phase, you're not adjusting the amplitude, you're just taking both antennas and you're putting them together. And that's going to sound a little bit like, let's go to, we'll use 1090. Okay, so there's our signal. Now that's using both the vertical and the loop at the same time. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to engage this diversity by introducing a variance in phase and amplitude. And we do that by clicking on the little icon here, and then we adjust. So as I adjust, you should be able to see here on the waterfall and also the spectrum display that above it, you're going to notice things are moving here. As I'm making adjustments, there are differences that are occurring, okay? Let's take this to a frequency where I have a strong-ish local, 990.
Green anole.
WGSO here in New Orleans is on this frequency. So I'm going to see what I can do about trying to get rid of WGSO using diversity mode. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's not so much, especially if you're getting like multipath and this other kind of stuff. But we're going to give it a shot.
Native lizards angry, just the brown lizards. They wrote, to test the anoles' angry behavior, Reg and Gunderson put pairs of green and brown anoles together in different enclosures. Each space was set at a different temperature to mimic different seasons, from the comfortable days of spring to the intense heat of Louisiana summer. Brown anoles picked more fights than the greens in all different temperatures, but while green anoles became slightly more combative as temperatures...
What we're listening for here is a dip in the signal. Now, remember I said sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. I'm going to adjust this here. What I've done here, there's a little menu option here where I can adjust the amount of variance that I can affect in the amplitude and the phase when I change these buttons here. So this button right here, as I go up, I'm increasing the amplitude. Now, it's going to max out on this little thing right here at 2. But so no matter what, it's not going to go any higher than 2 if I'm just using the icon thingy. But I can actually keep going with this little up down arrow over here. I can increase it quite a bit. So let's just see.
Studying which color lizard gets more angry.
So the thing that I'm trying to hear, I can usually do this the best with a signal meter, looking for a dip. And when I get to a dip, now this is what I normally do with a phaser, right? Is I adjust the amplitude of, I match up my amplitude of the 2 antennas, and then I'm adjusting phase until I see a dip. And then I adjust that phase back the other way until it starts to come back up again. And I kind of settle somewhere in the middle. I'm adjusting amplitude. I'm adjusting phase. I'm going back and forth. That's how I would do this if I was using a phaser. And that's how you can get to those really deep nulls. Here, it's a little bit, it's a little different. It's not exactly the same process. But we're going to look for a dip here and listen for a dip and see where we can try to find kind of the low point in the signal, and then try to accentuate from that low point.
Piece of species is going to be even more invasive as global warming goes up.
What does that do?
That is not what your study showed.
But what in the world does that do? Who cares?
Well,
if you have extra aggressive or combative brown lizards,
yeah.
Well,
they'll chase off the native green lizards. These are invasive species that came from somewhere else. Look, the point on all this.
Yeah, the point on all
I don't know why they're talking about lizards.
Please tie all this together for us.
The point is, this is part of the rot in academia because we have to take everything back to climate change. And we're doing a theory that we're going to have more invasive lizards coming into Louisiana because of climate change. When climate change has never been proven. It has never been proven. These scientists have assumed it's fact. That means you're not doing science. And secondly, they're claiming a result that their study doesn't actually say. And the problem is there hasn't been any significant warming in the state of Louisiana. The warmest decade in U.S. history, still the 1930s, not the 2020s. So for you to say we're going to get more brown lizards because of global warming in Louisiana, there hasn't been any global warming in Louisiana. We're still within the same range of normal.
You're listening to American Ground Radio. The bar has been set even higher.
This is going to be a tough one.
With new additions to their menu featuring the Caddy Shack. The Caddy Shack is the caddy of top shelf margaritas. Bodacious Bar and Q is
I'm feeling like that might be kind of where we're in here. Might be a bad example. I might be getting a little bit of a cross phase on this one. Let's look at what's another strong one I can go to. Oh, I know it. Let's look at an 840.
I don't know whether that would matter.
HAS.
I can't see that. I haven't seen the poll numbers. On the Democrat side, I brought this up a while ago, so I'll bring it up again. J.B. Pritzker.
All right, let's look at the HAS here.
Okay, so don't start throwing things at me from Illinois. But J.B. Pritzker, he kind of looks like your uncle. Kind of fat, but probably not too fat. Fat enough that he's relatable, but not so fat where you're thinking, geez, buddy, have you ever gone for a walk?
Here we go.
He is insanely wealthy, so he's going to be able to raise a ton of money. Everyone's kind of already handing the nomination to Gavin Newsom, while also allowing the AOC or some of the bonkers nutball may come up. But if J.B. Pritzker made a serious run at it, I wouldn't be surprised. The guy who got elected governor in Illinois can have a huge war chest. Don't sleep on J.B. Pritzker, although that would be very soft and comfortable. One more sentence. Hang on.
I'm going to hit amplitude lock here. There we go. And now I'm just going to use these arrows to try to do some slight movements.
But after meeting her baby on an ultrasound provided by Cleveland, she had a change of heart.
It was this tiny little vector mode hope, and I saw his heart beating on the screen. And that sound random changed my life.
Ultrasound saved lives. Freeborn currently has clinics that do not have ultrasound machines. If you have the means, would you consider a
a leadership gift.
You can see we started to bring them down a little bit.
More than most centers can afford. Your tax-deductible donation of $15,000.
It's not an exact science.
At a Needy Woman Center, saving countless lives for years to come. A gift of any size will go towards saving babies' lives. To donate securely, just call pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250 baby. Or visit.
I'm going to try to use this up-down arrow here to make these small movements.
Holiday season, more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info. And
it really does work the best when you're able to like watch the signal meter and use that for your clues. But unfortunately, this signal meter is a little jumpy. That's the word I'll use, jumpy. Now I may be missing an option here somewhere. Let's see. I probably am. You know what's crazy? Let me do this. We're gonna swap over to SDR because I have had more success with SDR and trying to do phasing. All right, so I'll show you guys the same process here in SDR We'll hit play. Now here what I'm doing is up here on this little window where you have like your stop button, your gain, all that. There's a box that says single. I'm going to go to that and hit diversity. And then that brings up my diversity window. Now it's going to default to apply auto. Let's
The holidays, a time of love and joy. But if you suffer from erectile dysfunction, the season can be tough on you.
See? I feel like I get better results out of SDR than I do SDR Connect. I don't know why. I'm sure it's user error.
We've literally seen countless thousands of relationships renewed across the nation. Plus, with treatments having success rates well over 90%, coupled with many treatment options, we can likely find the right one for you. You may even find plumbing like you have it. So call and give your partner the best gift you can give them. A renewed, restored relationship. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised.
What's weird is you just saw the phase actually shifted. This was a null point.
900-9656.
Really?
Criminal justice, education, economic advance.
So it's just about kind of finding that spot in here. That seems to be pretty good. And now I'm not hearing anything underneath. So there you go. That is, yeah, it's something different. I don't know if there's Rick says a higher amplitude range. Looks about the same between this and what I had on Connect. As far as I don't know if the metrics are calibrated the same, but about the same as what I had in Connect. I don't know. We'll see. But that's the process basically. And so you're trying to kind of zero in and get that null point. Now, I will be diving into Linrad here pretty soon to try to learn that program so that I can take and basically record those two independent channels. And they're on the RSPDX, those two independent tuners, and do the phasing and all that kind of stuff. And the phasing that's in Linrad is much more sophisticated. Complicated, sophisticated. And you get, I think, deeper results or deeper nulls and better results out of that than you do in some of the other programs like this. So that's what I've been told. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see. Now that I have some time off here, we're going to play around with it a little bit and see if we can figure that out. But this is the diversity mode in SDR Uno, SDR Connect. I'll be honest, I haven't had a ton of success on the AM side. I have on the FM side. I've had some good results on FM, going through and nulling out a station over in Texas and hearing a station in Florida. Like, I've done that. That's pretty straightforward. But I haven't had a ton of success with SDR Connect or SDR Uno doing diversity mode. And I'm sure it's just on AMDX. I'm sure it's just I need to play around with it more and spend some more time with it to get kind of acclimated. It's like with anything. You have to practice. You have to really kind of get in there and figure out the nuances of it. Of course, our other option here is SDR Sharp and the code channel canceller. And so now we can go over here to 840 again. We find our peak signal from WHAS.
Pizza is...
And it's gone. That's one of the reasons I like the code channel canceller in AirSpy so much. You can do it for live DX and for recorded DX. You only need one antenna, and it's that easy. I mean, I clicked 2 buttons, and WHAS is gone. No complications there, right? All right, so we're gonna do some more live DX here at the top of the hour. It is time for us to announce our next challenge. In the medium wave frequency challenge, we are going to say goodbye to the country challenge and wrap that up. But we have a new one on deck just in time for this specific time of the year. There we go. All right, so the daytime challenge is back. Why are we doing the daytime challenge? Shortest days of the year, longest nights of the year. And so what does that mean for daytime? That means the D layer is at its weakest and thinnest right now. Like yesterday was the shortest day of the year, right? Or today, one of the two. So we have the weakest and thinnest D layer possible. You also get, this is holiday week. A lot of folks are doing time with family, and DXing is probably not something you'll have a lot of time to do in the evenings and things like that. So we'll gather for game nights and dinners and stuff like that. So a little daytime DX, good time to do it. Other folks are off, right, from work this week or next week. And so you have a little time maybe to get out of the house and take a portable radio or a car radio and do a little DX. This is an opportunity to get reacclimated with your local band, obviously, but it's also a chance to do some tracking down of noise, which can be beneficial for you. It's also an opportunity to try out some new antennas, which can be beneficial for you, using ground wave signals and things like that. So there's all kinds of reasons why I like doing the daytime challenge this week of the year, this week right before Christmas. Because this is the perfect time of the year. We have the shortest days, we have the longest nights, or the thinnest D layer. Now, here is how the rules are going to work. Last year, we had a little bit different time frame that counted as daytime. So here's what the rules are going to be for this year. We're tightening the window a little bit. Last year was a little wider. We had a little more gray line in there. I'm going to tighten that down a little bit. We're going to go to 2 hours after your local sunset. That's when the daytime period starts. 2 hours after your local sunset to 2 hours before your local sunset. Now, I know some folks are getting enhancement 3 hours early before sunset. That's fine. There will still be probably a little bit of gray line or a little bit of something in there in this window. But 2 hours after your local sunrise 2 hours before your local sunset. That is our defined daytime period. This will run through next week, and then we'll start another challenge. But again, this will give us a chance to get reacclimated to our local band and do some DX in the daytime, which is an underlooked time frame in a lot of our logbooks, myself included. I don't do enough daytime DX, so it's a nice little reminder for me to check that time of the year out, see if there's anything new that's showing up, especially with the Skywave possible. You might get some stations that you're getting via Skywave because the D layer isn't super strong. They haven't turned off their daytime power yet, kind of like we had during the eclipse. Maybe you get some of those kinds of stations, right? Especially on the higher end of the band. So a good opportunity for us to do some of that DX here over the next week. So here in a moment, I'll hit publish. Actually, I'll go ahead and do it now. Publish. Boop. The form goes live at the top of the hour. We have some DX to do.
DX Central Live, top of the hour alert.
And this DX session is brought to you by National Radio Club, nationalradioclub.org. And let's go ahead and hit this and our usual. There we go. Now it feels more like top of the hour alert time. All right. We're sitting on our Kiwi, looking down towards the south, looking for South American countries, Central American countries, Caribbean, stuff like that. Since our new challenge is going to be a daytime challenge, I'm just going to keep doing the country look here. If you guys have a frequency you want me to check out, then by all means, slip that in the chat and we'll do that. But for tonight's DX session, I figured we would at least continue on looking for exotic DXs. So we start off where we left off, 1090.
Final fleeting second summoner left ounce of ebbing strength to whisper her sweetest name. Jesus. Emperors have tried to destroy it. Philosophies have tried to stamp it out.
And let's look, let's do, it's on 780. Yeah, EBM's in there. Who's the Punto Com? Oh, Radio Viva Pasto. I'm also going to check really quick, so I don't hear BVI in here. Let's see if we can hear Haiti. Oh, it's such a good movie. Dazed and Confused is such a good movie. I know it's American Graffiti Time Part 2, basically, but it's such a good movie. Yeah, I saw that on GBF. Probably going to reach out to them about trying to get something arranged for the CPC. And we have a reach out to NAM as well already, 1280 in Wisconsin. We already are talking to them about maybe trying to get something going before they sign off. I think I've heard GBF here, and that's even with a local on 1280. Yeah. I've heard them here. with a local on 1280. Still heard WGBF here. Jacob has Argentine time pips on 870. Interessante. Let's check out 920. Did we get a repeat of last week?
Prime? She goes, no. I'm not doing Amazon Prime. How am I still getting the game? I probably shouldn't mention this because they're probably about to crack down on that. You know, it was a really bad day for all of us when Netflix cracked down on the sharing of the accounts, right? So it's like, you know, now
all the Paraguayan.
You know, you can only share your password twice, and then
area Kiwis are offline.
And that's what it's like. And that was a rough day.
Bonaire offline.
You know, like all
sad day.
People who have like the HBO Max subscription, and maybe they give you their password or something like that. But I don't think either my wife nor I have Amazon Prime. And yet when I go to my PlayStation, it still pulls right up. And listen, don't ask why, just watch and enjoy. And that's what I'm trying to do. I enjoyed that game last night, Seattle and the Los Angeles Rams, and game of the year, Seattle wins 38-37. And they won because the Rams have a crap...
There's XEW.
Y eso que no has visto lo que sigue, Javi.
Aiden, it's going to be based off your local. So it's from 2 hours after your local sunrise when it starts to 2 hours before your local sunset. So that's the window, and it's all about just the daytime, man. That's what we're looking for. It's based off your local time frame. $9.10. I'm not really hearing my usual San Andres.
Streaming season 2 of Fox Nation.
A lot of LAC here on 1510. Kansas City's pretty loud on the South Wire right now on 810. I don't hear Catacol Radio.
Save a Life fundraising banquet benefiting Caring to Love Ministries. And if you'd like some more information,
Bonaire is in there on 800 under my local, but not super strong like they usually are.
823-112. Again, that number is.
New York is dealing with some of the country's highest numbers. The State Department of Health cites nearly 1,400 flu hospitalizations.
Station identification. You're listening to the College Football Playoff on ESPN Radio and ESPN. Breaking news 24/7. 570 KLI at Dallas, Fort Worth. 96.3 KSCS FM HD2 Fort Worth, Dallas.
There you go.
You want to go second quarter, and Alabama has a red flashing light for a status indicator right now. Crimson Tide down 17-0 against the Oklahoma Sooners. Mike Cousins starts off in the bowl and Colt Hewlett with an eye on the Alabama.
Oh. Oh, wow. I'm going to keep my commentary to myself as an LSU fan. All right. So it looks like some of that southern enhancement we were getting, because that Spanish station that was in there underneath KLIF is probably Jota Bay out of Mexico. More than likely. They're pretty loud here, especially if we've gone shallow, which it sounds like we've gone pretty shallow, at least here in the short term right now. If we're in a fade or something like that. All right. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we've got a bunch of shout outs to get to. And then we're going to talk about taking your DX out on the road, doing a DXpedition. Our friend Sean Kutzko right now is doing exactly that, staying in a VRBO in southern Illinois and rolling out his 500-foot bog and getting away from noise and everything else. So it inspired me. I said, let's talk about that. So we'll be talking about that and your DX wish list. coming up here at the top of the hour. So don't go anywhere, my friends. There's plenty more DX Central Live coming up, and all you have to do is just wait just a more moment.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
Tune in the dial. Late at night, status buzzing. Yeah, it feels so right. Searching for a sound so rare. Ooh, I found it. Ooh, yeah. It's on the air. New station, new vibe. Can't believe my ears. DX magic. It's music to my ears. Do the DX boogie. Slide and groove. When the signal hits you, gotta move. DX boogie. Feel the thrill. New station. Oh, it's such a chill. Boogie.
From the DX Central Northshore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
Turns to a melody. Oh, DX magic. It's all I needed. New station, new vibe. Can't believe my ears. DX magic. It's music to my ears. Do the DX boogie. Slide and grab. When the signal hits you, gotta move. DX boogie. Feel the thrill. New station. Oh, it's such a chill.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in beautiful Mandeville, Louisiana, bringing you live DX conversation, shout-outs, challenges, and more. And Aiden, yeah, it is live now. We do have folks, international. Ken in Thailand's an example. We have international folks who like to join in on our challenges from time to time. And so we leave that, we open it up. The new challenges, when they start, always start same time, end at the same time. But sometimes we restrict the DX window. We did the Grayline challenge a couple weeks back. We got some more shout outs to get to, so it's time to do it.
Shout out loud, hear the call for every single big or small, from AM to FM to C to C. We celebrate the ones who snag your IT. Shout out loud, let it be known, you're never DXing all alone. Through the static we found our way. Shout outs making waves today.
All right. Got a couple of shout outs in left to get to. Some pretty big ones, actually. Let's start with Stuart saying, greetings from rural New Hampshire. Not too long ago, I came across an article specifically mentioning that going to the Northeast U.S. in December will not allow me to give any FMDX. I hope to prove them wrong over the next few days. And I hope that you do. Especially if we get some e-skip. Nice. Oh, e-skip from New Hampshire to Louisiana. Be a new state. No, it wouldn't. I did get New Hampshire, right? Back in Southeast Michigan this past week of FMDX, it's been a little crazy. And who says wintertime FMDX doesn't exist, right? It's a little harder. You have to be a little more patient, but it's there. It all started late Friday night when I took my TEF radio to a low noise area outside of my autologger's location and tuned it to 97.7, and only a few minutes went by before I heard part of an ad that mentioned Fort Walton Beach, confirming the reception of 97.7 The Bone, WYYX in Bonifay, Florida, 824 miles. Early Saturday morning, I received an RDS ping from Sunny 97.7 KNBZ in Redfield, South Dakota. 761 miles. It's a brand new state. Then we traveled back to the Nature Preserve in Clinton, Michigan, where I cleaned up on 93.7. Listen to this. All on 93.7, rather. WPEZ in Jeffersonville, Georgia. 645 miles, new state. EC Radio, Canada Premier, CBJ-FM in Quebec, 761 miles, new province. You guys know what that means. 93.7 The Beat, KQBT in Houston, Texas, 1,076 miles, sorry. Previously had been heard via eSkip. Sports Radio 93.7 WEEI in Lawrence, Massachusetts, 663 miles, new state. On Country 93.7 KAIR in Horton, Kansas, 616 miles, clip attached. Y94 KOYY in Fargo, North Dakota, 733 miles, new state. And Magic 93.7 WMJY, Biloxi, Mississippi, 843 miles, new state. New state, new province, new state. Nice. Overnight Saturday night, ran 2 overnight recordings at location on my autologger. One of them was 97.7 FM, where I picked up Sun Life Radio KJSM in Augusta, Arkansas, 641 miles. Second one, however, I cleaned up even more. This time on NOAA Weather Radio for the first time ever on the .5, all new states. WNG 676, Clearwater, Minnesota, 539 miles, 921 miles. To Woodward, Oklahoma for WWG 46, WWH 22 in Beaumont, Kansas, 746 miles. WNG 648 Crocker, Missouri, 537 miles, and KXI 50 in Russell, Minnesota, 620 miles. And if that wasn't enough, got some crazy tropo on Wednesday night and picked up a few new stations as well. 90.7 of HAD in Wisconsin, 242 miles. Power 92, WPWX, Hammond, Indiana, 201 miles. Magic 98, 98.1 WMGN in Madison, Wisconsin, 290 miles. 135 miles to Sunny 101.5 and WNSN in South Bend, Indiana. Amore 106.7 WPPN in Des Plaines, Illinois, 217 miles. I hope I said that right. Mix 98.9 WMXY in Youngstown, Ohio, 181 miles. 250 miles to Green Bay, Wisconsin for 89.3 WPNE on NOAA Weather Radio. KXI 55 on the .525 in Dixon, Illinois, 301 miles. First portable catch of the .5 Crystal Lake, Illinois, 236 miles for KXI 41. WWG 86.5 in Prairie du Chien. Thank you. 379 miles, Wisconsin. He gave me a little pronunciation guide in there. I hit many new state goals, including several that I was hoping to get via eSkip, and I also hit the goal of getting RDS from my autologger's location. Getting meteor scatter was a really interesting experience, and I hope to do more of it as time goes along. So we've got a lot to unpack here. Let's see. We're going to start with the new log. These plans, like this plans, boss. The plans. New U.S. states out the wazoo. I don't think we have enough fireworks for all the states. Let's see. New Wisconsin log. That's cleaning up. I told y'all the second round was going to be a beast. We got a goal achieved. I know what you guys are waiting for. I know exactly what you guys are waiting for. New milestone achieved as well. I mean, hey, there's a whole bunch of logs in here. We've got a bunch of new states. We've got... Just going back through this, man. This is a ton of stuff. blow the horn of victory again here. And what is it I'm forgetting here? Ferda. Oh man, he's got a clip in here for us as well. So let's take a gander here at the clip. This is KAIR on 93.7. There we go. Yeah. All right, man. Well done, Mr. Stewart, up in Michigan. Now we get to our friend Aiden. You thought that was a lot of catches. I see your catches. We raise you some more. With the slightly auroral conditions, they've been paying off this week. Or I'm sorry, let me back up here. Take two. With the slightly auroral conditions I've been having this past week, I've gotten a few stations from Latin America. I'll tell you all about the Latin stations, plus some highlights of the domestic stuff. All right, from least to most exciting, here's the weekly highlights. Let's see. Number 1, 1170 KOTV Tulsa. Why? Significant? Well, this is my first station on 1170 besides the big pest out of Wheeling, West Virginia, WVVA, right? I was getting a signal that was weirdly coming in better to my southwest than my southeast. I thought to myself, maybe, is it KOTV finally? Sure enough, I heard mentions of Owasso and Black Wall Street. I understandably got pretty psyched because it's very rare to get anything on 1170 besides Wheeling here, but it's only the least exciting of the bunch this time around. So, a good catch. Oh, wait. As Billy Mays once said, there's more. Now the only frequencies that I have one station on are in the same three categories as before I logged it. 630, 760, 910, 950, and 1310 where he has strong locals. Some big clear channel pests on 840, 890, 1020, 1100, and before this week 1170. Got to get past those guys. Frequencies adjacent to the strong locals like 920 or a mix or multiple of them like 1210's a mix of adjacent frequencies to strong locals and clear channel pests. 1640 was another outlier until this past week when KZLS Oklahoma. Why is this significant? Well, since all the stations besides WSJP out of Wisconsin are way out west of me, it's usually just WSJP and 1640 until I heard some weak sports talk in the background of the Cheesehead Pest. I determined it to be KZLS, and coincidentally, like the previous one, this station's also from Oklahoma. Now, all graveyard frequencies have at least two stations logged on them. Or the expanded band, sorry. I also got another station on 1610 this week from Montreal, another frequency I had only one station on this week, but if I discuss that, we'd be here for a lot longer. Anyways, to our first new Latin station of the week. 640 Radio Progreso out of Cuba, who was actually louder last night than I've heard them in a while. They were playing like nonstop Madonna. Weird. This is my first Progreso station. How could I tell? My Shazam picked up a song on 640 that was Spanish, and I looked up Radio Progreso. They had the exact same song on their recently played. Now, the only major network from Cuba I still need is, surprisingly, Radio Reloj. 950, 950. And 870, probably. I would assume. I can't tell because we had WWL, but I would definitely say 870, 950 are your two to go check. And from what I heard, Reloj would have been the most obvious if I got it due to all the ticking in the Morse code RR. Mm-hmm. On Sundays, they do chimes instead of the RR. Overall, a nice catch from over 1,300 miles away, but it pales in comparison to the absolute gold I got later that night. Progreso was heard in the morning, and at night, I love this. 570 HJND, Bogota, Colombia. You can actually see the excitement in the typeface here in the font. Now, this is the big one. I was listening to the radio and was hearing Spanish on 570 coming in and out with the pest. That is WKBN. Yo. And they were playing football around 0100 UTC on the 17th. And at about 0115, I heard a tone jingle that sounded almost robotic. Since I knew it wasn't Rolo, Rebeldi, or even one of the Mexicans, my two top candidates were Costa Rica and Colombia. I tried to look up TICDL's stream, but couldn't find it. They can be kind of tricky down there sometimes. Since I couldn't find a little jingle that sounded kind of robotic, I heard on any of the HJND Radio Nacional de Colombia air checks online. I listened to the stream around 15 after the next hour, and sure enough, at about 2:20, while playing that same football game, I heard. I don't have a recording for the jingle, but I'll send you some talk. Some of the talk I recorded after I heard the jingle. I was ecstatic when I heard the same jingle on the stream. Even the announcers, slight echo, and chanting music in between matched what I was hearing on my radio for the past hour. This is not only my first Colombian, but my first South American station, period. It also broke my all-time distance record. I've been doing this for about a year and 2 months now, which was previously held by Bonaire at 2,273 miles and is now set at 2,645 miles thanks to HJND. This is the pinnacle of my DXing career so far. So I added this so far, and I'm proud to say I got it in the past week. There you go, man. He's got a clip here for us. Let's take a listen for HJND, Radio Nacional de Colombia. That's the same one we had last time. Why isn't that the right one? Oh, come on. I'll figure that out. So either we just heard the clip already or we've got the same clip in here for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, regardless, we've got some logs to solve for you here, man. Girl. And we got Senior Team, the DX Magnet Trump in there as well. Well done. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. New country for our friend Aiden up in Michigan. Oh, you're good, man. Aiden up in Michigan also got himself new Latin American station, so we got to do that one as well. New goal achieved, I'd say. And fittingly, the new goal achieved audio might have had something you might have heard when you heard Radio Nacional de Colombia. And milestone, getting that mileage record taken care of. Well done, Aiden. I remember the first time I heard Colombia, and I was able to yes, this is Colombia. I was in Brasstown, and I want to say it was Caracol Radio 810 HJCY. It was either that one or 770 HJJX. I don't remember which one it was. It was my first one. I'll have to go back and look at my Brasstown log. But I remember feeling like, oh my God, this is Colombia, and I was doing backflips. And like you were saying with the 1170, the KOTV, I remember the night that I was listening on 1140 thinking I was going to hear WRVA out of Virginia, and instead I was hearing CHRB out of Alberta. Just randomly, there they were. I wasn't going for them, wasn't targeting them. I was just dialing around to see how conditions looked. This was also when I was in Brasstown, and there was High River, Alberta. I almost fell down the stairs. I was running so hard downstairs to post that online and say, guys, it's coming in. I don't know if you can hear it too. Because I'd never heard anything like that before, that far out west, in north and west. Well done, Aiden. Our next up is Mr. John Johnson out in Arizona. New logging this week. Look at this one, y'all. KARN 920 Little Rock, Arkansas. My third Arkansas logging, no sign of usual dominant KVEL or KRLV. This is the 11th station on 920 that he's heard, bringing his total from Mesa 924. All right, man. New logs for John, and it's KARN. I always like seeing when you guys get one of the ones that's like local or nearby to me. It's like when someone hears like your local hometown station. Well done, John. Next up, we got David sitting out there in the dark right now in Maine, DXing with a portable. Good time to do it when the power's out. When the power is out, the DX comes out. That's the rule. When the power is out, the radios come out, and it's time to DX. Okay? I don't write the rules. It's just what you got to do. You can't do anything else anyway, so might as well DX. David said had good openings to Europe on the 12th and 13th. 603 RNE5 in Sevilla. 567 RNE5 in Spain as well. 1534 SER Radio for Spain. Numbers 21, 22, and 23 for him from the country of Spain. My goodness. 1422 Radio Culture Alger for Algeria, number 5. And 621 RNE Canary Islands for country number 35. That's one, when I lived in Charleston, that was one of the few transatlantic stations that I could always get audio from. Like, sometimes I could usually get 891, but like every once in a while I would get Talk Sport or what was the other one on 1215? I'm blanking on the one, the British station, the England station on 1215, what network that was. But 621 out of Canary Islands, damn near every night was there. So that's the new country Canary Islands is for our friend David. Yeah, what was that network? Wouldn't Talk Sport. What was the network that was on 1215? They're in the UK. I don't remember what network it was. But I remember when I was in the Outer Banks, I was actually able to get audio from them. And they were playing like rock music and stuff like that. I think they might have played Oasis then. Would have been fitting. I cannot remember. Absolute Radio. That's who it was. Absolute Radio, 1215 UK. Ooh, that was going to drive me crazy. So we got that for our friend David and some new logs as well. That is one of the things I've been very fortunate and very happy with how much of Latin America that I'm able to hear from here in New Orleans. But there are two things I miss about DXing from Charleston. The whole east of the Caribbean, eastern end of the Caribbean, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Puerto Rico, probably down into Brazil, all of that was wide open. I could have really had some fun with that if I'd had more time. The big one with those is transatlantic. Just having access to that right there on the East Coast was so nice. I'm hopeful that in time that I can get some of the transoceanic stuff from here, but so far it's been pretty sparse. Our friend Barry checking in from Tennessee, Mr. Top Dog. Yesterday morning, just after 0800 UTC, I caught a nice opening to New Zealand. Yeah, New Zealand, y'all. With multiple carriers present on Jaguar's Yas log. Was able to log 3 different New Zealand stations. The strongest being 1476 Sport Nation in Auckland for country number 37. This opening also broke my old mileage record at 8,240 miles. I'm going to sell all my radios. Anybody want to buy some radios? New country for our friend Barry. We got to stamp some passport here for you, buddy. There you go. All right. I also heard Benin, 1476 when I was in Charleston. Although I do admit my antenna facing that direction until recently was not great. I have a good antenna. My man's got New Zealand and he breaks a record on his distance record. I mean, over 8,200 miles from Tennessee to New Zealand. Skips right over top of me. So this begs the question. Maybe I need to do some more looking on the sunrise. Because that's pretty incredible. That's very incredible, actually. I've gotten audio and carrier here from 891 Algeria. And other than that, I think the only other time that I saw it was 864 Kiribati, but I don't know for sure 100% that was actually them because it's right there next to WWL. And sometimes we get these weird carriers next to our locals here that makes it look like a TA, but it's transoceanic, but it's really not. It's just something weird. I don't know. Last shout out for this round here, our friend Sean Kutzko. Again, if you have shout outs, get them in dxchallenges.com/shout out. It was fun focusing on countries as a target for the last couple of weeks, says Sean. I normally go for states and Canadian provinces and listen for weak domestics. Thanks to great conditions to the south, we all had some fun though. Yes, we have recently. Honestly, I didn't really hear anything new or rare. That is until the very end of last week's show. Remember this? I'm actually working up a promo for this one. Thanks to a tip from Lloyd during the broadcast, I was able to log Radio Nacional de Paraguay on 9/20 of that. They were incredibly weak. Quite possibly the weakest station I can confidently say that I logged. Real ESP level. Yeah, sometimes it'd be like that. But they were there for about 90 seconds, and then they were gone. 10 countries for the challenge, including Paraguay, U.S., Canada, Mexico, Cuba, Bonaire, Bahamas, Peru, Ecuador, San Andres. This weekend, I'm in extreme southern Illinois on an AMD expedition. Got a VRBO, vacation rental by owner. For those of you who are not familiar, I want to assume. On 30 acres in the middle of nowhere with a 500-foot bog aimed at 300 degrees and with a W6 LVP loop and an NCC2 phaser. Ready for some DX. It almost didn't happen. He actually bricked his air spy right before he got here, trying to update the firmware. After about 4 hours of help from the Slack channel, especially from Rick K9AO, and Rick was a beast in there, slinging out the Windows knowledge. The unit was still toast, even after all the work. So with no alternatives, I called my partner and told her I was going to make the 8-hour round trip drive to get at my other SDR. She graciously volunteered to meet me at the halfway point, salvaging my weekend getaway. Big kudos to Nancy N9NCY. Santa's going to be extra good to her this year. Here until Monday morning, so bring on the DX, please. On. Absolutely. Man, that's a trooper. That's, it's real when she'll meet you halfway off of 8-hour drive, you said? Yeah. 4-hour drive for her and then 4-hour back, I assume. Bring you an SDR so you can go DX. That's a real one right there, man. That's a real one. We stamped some passport here for you for Paraguay. They get out. 920 gets out. For those of you who are in the chat saying you still need Paraguay, they get out. If it's a really good, deep Southern American night, definitely look for it. if you see people reporting like Argentina and stuff like that, or you're hearing Argentina, Paraguay, especially within an hour of their local sunset or sunrise. Sorry, local sunrise. And we got the login here for you as well. Only 2 hours for, okay. Still, that's a lot of driving. A lot of driving. But thank goodness she did. That way you have a chance to still do some great DX this week. Well done, my friend. And again, congratulations on Paraguay. This transitions and segues nice into the conversation I was going to bring up here. So talking about DXpeditions. I know there are some of you, Kaz is in the chat, who has just a ton of experience in DXpeditions over the years. I used to read the exploits of people like him and Mark Conley. Just all the ones up in Newfoundland and Prince Edward Island and up in Massachusetts, and Gary DeBach out there in Northwest Washington, or Pacific Northwest out that way on those edges of those rock cliffs with his little portable radios and a ferret sleeve loop. Remember a couple of years ago when everyone was talking about the ferret sleeve loop? I still have all my rods. I haven't built mine yet. I still need to get that done. So DXpedition. So for those of you who might not be familiar, a DXpedition is anywhere where you go for the sole purpose of DXing. And it's usually somewhere that is either geographically advantageous for you to try to get a station that you don't normally have a shot at, or maybe you're trying to get away from noise. But whatever it is, your purpose there is to DX. Now, how extravagant these DXpeditions are for you, it's really up to you, right? Like I said, some of these guys that would do these ones up in Newfoundland and PEI and up in the Northeast, Maine, Massachusetts and all, they would have beverages, and you'd read about all these great catches they would get. Tim Hall does his one out at the Nevada-Utah border every year in October, where he goes out there and he stretches his beverages out thousands with an S of feet. And then he spends the rest of the year, that's his DX. He spends the rest of the year DXing those recordings from October and pulling stuff out. So I've done a couple of these over the years, not a ton. I've done some stuff at some like state parks, national parks. I mentioned earlier, the Outer Banks. Did a vacation rental out on the Outer Banks in February. It was the weekend of the Super Bowl 2021. It was that year. I think it was like the Chiefs and somebody. I forget who it was they were playing that year. Maybe the Eagles, maybe Rams, maybe. But I remember I was sitting on the beach with my radio listening. So for that one, my plan was I was going to put up a DCAS and I was going to point it right at Europe. Had my Perseus with me and drove the 8 hours from Charleston up to Outer Banks, and had my Perseus, and I actually brought my PC from my shack with me. Thank goodness I did. And then had all the stuff to do the DCAS, and I thought I'd gone through all this prep work, had checklists and everything else, and I did have some backups. I had a laptop, my Surface Pro 6 laptop, a W6 LVP loop, and my AirSpy. And I brought a Sony portable. So I had several different options there. Let me give you guys some tips of what I have learned over the years of doing these little trips, these DX trips. And maybe it'll help you if you decide you want to do one. This is a really good time of the year to do them, by the way. If you're going to do like a VRBO or something like that, they're pretty cheap. It's off season. And if you are lucky, like what Sean found at a farm, or like I have one about, I think it's 12, 15 miles from my house here. There's like a 200-acre farm right next to a wildlife preserve, so there's no noise. These farms, it's off season for them too, right? They're not farming, they're not harvesting anything, so income for them is income, right? So they're going to be more than happy to probably be a little more accommodating this time of the year than they might be other times of the year for things like, let me put some wire up in your farm. Number one thing for any DXpedition is plan for the unexpected. Have backups of everything if you can. I mentioned I brought my tower computer from my shack with me on that Outer Banks trip. I also have my Surface Pro 6. Had I not, if I just brought the Surface Pro 6, I would have been kind of SOL because of kind of how the condition, because you never know what you're going to get when you get there. As an example, at Outer Banks, when I got there, I set all my CAS up, got everything strung up. It's actually DCAS, 140-foot DCAS, 22 by 140-foot DCAS out on the beach, pointing right at like England, Newfoundland, all that out that way. I should have first checked before I went through all the trouble of stringing that antenna up. Because once I got that up, plugged into my Perseus, the noise was ungodly. The entire band was wiped out. Think about these beaches like this, salt air, corrosion. The grid out there gets a lot of windstorms and hurricanes. It's held together with paper clips and duct tape. So the propensity and the likelihood of you're going to run into some noise is pretty high in locations like that. So that's when I deployed my portable radio, my Sony ICF 2010 at the time. I brought it out and I'm standing outside of our cabin that we were staying in. And I walked along the beach until I got rid of the noise. And that was the spot. I marked it in the sand. And then I went back in the house and I grabbed my Surface Pro and my Air Spy and my loop and a chair. And I went and parked my butt on the beach. And 2 nights of sunset and 1 morning of sunrise, I just sat there while I did recordings with my little loop antenna. Because that was my backup plan, because I couldn't do anything with the CASs really. I could kind of hear a couple things here and there, but it was definitely not to the degree of what I wanted it to be because the noise was so awful. And then the first night, the wind storm came in and blew down half the CAS. And so I could only do 1 regular CAS. So the DCAS now became a CAS, and then the noise was so bad. It was just like, well, this is... Also... when I got there, I realized I had the wrong cable for my monitor. I needed a DVI and I had an HDMI. So I had to go run to Walmart there on the Outer Banks and buy a TV. Plug into my computer. So I had a brand new little TV sitting in Studio B right now. But that was my monitor for that trip. For the big computer, for the desktop computer, was a TV, little Walmart Vizio or whatever it was, 720p. Backup plans, backup radios, backup antennas, update all of your software. I'm sorry, Sean, I know this is probably hard to hear being said right now, during what you went through last night. Update all your software and your firmware and everything before you leave. Because you don't know what kind of internet access you're going to be able to really have, how reliable it's going to be where you are, if you have it at all. And so if you find yourself in a situation where you need something, to download a piece of software or whatever it might be, you may not be able to get to it. So, having all of that updated, have everything ready, all your software loaded up, any station lists, not a bad idea to PDF what you got somewhere, like going to medium wave list and PDFing their station list there just in case you can't get online. Hard drives, bring some external hard drives if you can. I found this out when I was in Brasstown doing my Brasstown recordings. I was running out of room on the hard drive, so thankfully I did have an external hard drive that I could offload some of my recordings to in real time and kind of pull it all over to the hard drive and then keep recording, which saved me. Otherwise, I'd have run out of room. Another time I was in California doing it. It was actually, this was not a DXpedition per se, but it became one. I was there for a work trip and decided to do some recordings in the hotel room, and got there and realized I didn't have any of my cables to connect my antennas up with to the radio. That is when I went out. I went to this, like, can't really see it very well here, can you? I went to like a military surplus place and bought some of these little bags. You can't really see it very well. But I have this little pouch bag here. And in this pouch bag, I have all of my cables that I need, my coax cables with the right adapters and everything. And I just have all these in a little pouch. And so when I go on my DXpedition trips, I have one pouch for every different kind of antenna that I want to bring, unless I'm building something special for the trip. And I just take this, I toss it in the bag of whatever I'm packing up. I kind of look at it like a kit. So I have like my W6 LVP loop kit, my U loop kit, every little antenna combination that I might need, SDR combination I might bring with me is in a bag, and it's ready to roll. Bring a portable radio. You never know if you need to do some noise hunting, or if that might be your only option. What if you lose power? Right? That portable radio is going to be what you got. Or maybe you just, like I was in that house, the noise was terrible, so I had to go out and get away from the noise to be able to DX. Now, luckily, I had the SDR and the portable antenna with me, but if I didn't have that, the portable would have been my only option. So, I'm sure there's some of you who have done some DXpeditions who might have some additional tips and tricks, but those are some things that I've realized. That Lake Forest trip I did in California, luckily there was an HRO in Anaheim, so that was able to remedy that. I purchased everything online, went and picked it up, it was good to go. Salvaged the trip. I was able to do some recordings, and they're all up on YouTube, and they're fantastic. So if you're going to do a DXpedition, wherever that might be, remember, anything within 25 miles of your home location is good to go. So if you are within 25 miles, as the crow flies, from your home location, anything in that 25-mile circle, count from home. Now, some folks may or may not agree with that, but that's the rule of thumb. It's within 25 miles of home is home, because you're not changing your location enough. You may do something different to get away from noise or have a bigger antenna or whatever, but I mean, that's the point. That's the point of why we're doing the exercise. So if you want to count that for your home logs, you're able to, as long as you're within 25 miles from home. If you go further than that, then you can have like, this is my logs from this location. Before we moved here, I had planned on going to Outer Banks like every year and repeating that exercise over and over, but then we moved. So, definitely get a checklist going. Hey, Kaz, thank you, sir. Definitely get you a checklist going. Start your prep work in advance. And you can have a lot of fun. I encourage everyone to get out, DX away from home. You would be surprised, even if it's within that 25-mile circle from your house, you'd be surprised just how different the band can be in a different location from your home location and with a different antenna. You'd be surprised. It can be very, very, very different. I recently did a little trip up to Bush, Louisiana, right on the edge of I was actually a little bit further out towards Bogalusa, right on the edge of that 25-mile circle from here. I was just kind of pushing it out to see, okay, where can I find some spots? And I did a little setup, and it's definitely different. It was a little bit different look at the band than what I normally would have. This also applies for FM, by the way. A lot of FM folks like to do these DXpeditions on mountaintops. There was a bunch of them that would go up for FM and VHF ham radio stuff, but they'd go up to Mount Mitchell when I lived in North Carolina. Cumberland Gap, up when I was in North Carolina, they would go up that way and do a bunch of stuff. So if you live in an area that's near mountains, go mountaintop FM DXing at least once. You're not going to regret it. It's amazing. It's so amazing. If you can get out and do something like on the Great Lakes or like a big lake or near an ocean, same thing, FM and AM, by the way. I used to go down when I lived in Charleston. I used to go down to Sullivan's Island, right where Fort Moultrie is on Sullivan's Island, in case you might know it. And before I got back into AMDX, I do this a lot with AMDX too. But I would also set up like my little QRP setup for my ham radio, and I would sit there and work skip right on the, my literally my counterpoise for my buddy pole antenna was in the Atlantic Ocean. Literally. And I was working QRP 5 watts, working well into Europe and all over the place. And they were like, you sound really good. I was like, well, I'm on the water. So just some things to think about. So if you do, again, plan for the unexpected, have backups of everything, get all your stuff gathered up, software, firmware, all of that stuff before you leave, a couple of days before you leave if you can. Get that checklist of what you might need and make sure you stick to it and don't bring the wrong monitor cable like I did. Don't forget your adapters and your connectors like I did. I've learned a lot of things over the years. I've done camping trips to state parks where I would go camping and set up and do recordings. I did a bunch that I'm still reviewing the recordings from, actually, from 2019. Really, really good stuff that has some TA in there, too. So that's all to say. DXpeditions are a lot of fun. It doesn't have to be a big extravagant one with tons and tons of beverages, although that is fun. It can be something simple with like a mag loop or your car or portable radio, whatever. I would go down to Sullivan's Island with the car radio and I would DX Puerto Rico and Caribbean from the car. Much fun, man. So much fun. So highly encouraged. Get your DX outside. It's a lot of fun to do. We've got another DX session coming up. Again, we are doing our new challenge this week is the daytime challenge. So nothing specific for us to DX tonight related to the challenge, but I do invite you all, again, 2 hours after your local sunrise to 2 hours before your local sunset. Get your daytime DX in over the next week. Get reacclimated with your local band. Take advantage of the thin, weak D-layer and see what's out there. Let's do some DX. So this DX session brought to you by the Spectrum Monitor, thespectrummonitor.com. Well, hold on now. Wait a second. We're not doing that. I know it said FMDX. We're not doing FMDX. We're going to be doing AMDX here, but I haven't got a AMDX for the Spectrum Monitor yet. This DX session, let's go back and we're going to take a look at some more Latin America. Let's see. Unmute our antennas here, or SDRs. Let's take another roundabout look of our beacons and see if conditions have improved any from the last time we DX'd.
I had the stream of working
Ecuador is in there, but not great. Really decent. Sean has transmitted from Sullivan's Island. Me too, man. Beautiful place to transmit from. That's cool. I'm guessing it was MPTO, Natural Parks on the Air?
Yeah, I just don't know whether or not I should take this time.
I was right on the line. Like, if I had my, like, when I went down there to do my QRP stuff, I set up a little table. Actually, I wasn't on a table at that one. I was on the rocks, right in front of Fort Moultrie. And, like, I put my bag and everything right where it said, like, this is the line for the National Park Service. That was where my bag and everything was that I was storing, like, the stuff I was done with. But my gear itself was just on the other side of that line. So I was right on the beach itself, overlooking the harbor, Ravenel Bridge, all that. I mean, I've got some videos here on the YouTube channel somewhere way back of me doing QRP from down on Sullivan's Island. A lot of fun. David says, I really want to do some, get an antenna to do some South America DXing. Yeah, DXpeditions are great for that kind of stuff. Go somewhere we normally, like I'm planning that place that's like 12, 15 minutes away from here, or 15 miles from here. They've got a 220-acre farm. They've got a couple cabins. And so, and it's like I said, it's right next to a wildlife refuge. There's no noise anywhere near. And I want to talk to them about, you know, hey, can I put some wires out? Nothing permanent. I'm going to jam a copper pipe into the ground that I can pull right back out. Nothing crazy too deep, but just enough to have a ground connection for these bogs or whatever I take out there with me and just see what I can do. I want to get some transatlantic, some trans-Pacific, and I want to look down south. I want Jacob says KPRM is owning 870. I would check it, but you know who's owning 870 here. Got a Coloradio's in there, not loud.
Claro, no, pensaba en eso, tiene sentido. Es que llegó con el estómago así, hay que llenarlo con cualquier cosa.
910, I'm guessing that's FAMA out of San Andres, but not as loud as usual. 770. Let's go back and sit on 840 again. Let's see if we can hear Haiti this time. I'm going to guess probably not.
Alcohol-free bio-based spray is in that's safe around kids and pets. Use it on shoes, sports gear, cars, bathrooms, and more. Zero Smell destroys bad smells at the source by killing the bacteria. Trusted by over 10,000 households. Go to iHeart and get 20% off at tryzerosmell.com. That's go to iHeart for 20% off at tryzerosmell.com. Only valid in December. What's the best kind of Christmas music? Commercial-free Christmas music. iHeartRadio app is 100% commercial-free. Everywhere you go, you get those gift wrapped just right. Ask your smart speaker to play iHeart Christmas on the iHeartRadio. Try it now. Open the app, search holiday, and start listening. Speed Radio 840, WAJS, Louisville, and iHeartRadio station.
I don't have a good look at Haiti from here. Earl mentions 1290 CFRW. Let's go see if we can hear them. That's actually one I wanted to check. I'm going to go up here on our low noise vertical and see what we have. They're doing equipment tests. Probably can't hear them from here, but CFRW. Let's see. Do they have a live stream that I can compare to? Or a... Winnipeg, so I'm going to go find an online Kiwi somewhere near. So here's this is a Kiwi up in Winnipeg on 1290. Right now it just went off. I mean, it was just loud for a second there. Now it's chunked and then gone. Right when we went looking, the antenna got unplugged. All right, let me keep looking. Okay. This is 1290 CFR. What was the calls on it? CFRW up in Winnipeg. All right, let's see if we can hear any of that here. Nope. Wait a second. that's West Palm Beach. With JNO. You just ID'd. Did we have anything the same music? ATNN booming on 660, says Sean. Quick listen. Dan asks, the antenna oriented at 330 degrees, where you're pointing northwest, or actually the inverse southeast. So on the... Oh, I need to change that. Why is that saying 330? On the shortwave central Kiwi, it's actually 150 degrees. I don't know why that says 330. I changed it a long time ago, I thought. To 150. It's 150. We're pointing southeast on the shortwave central Kiwi. I thought that was changed months ago. We haven't been 150 degrees in a while. I will change that right now. People are probably like, why is it 330 degrees when I'm hearing so much Latin America? I think if I change this, though, it's going to make me restart it. Yep, I'm going to have to restart. That's not bad. All right, so we're going to do that because we have to restart. Anyway, back to 660. Yeah, Robert, whenever we go on a trip, whether I'm going on a trip for work, or if I'm doing like a purposeful DX vacation, or even if we're just on a vacation, like the first time I did it, and took everything with me on a trip, it was 2020. Yeah, I wanted to bring it with me to Seattle back in 2019, but I didn't have the gear at the time to do it. But in 2020, I brought with me my W6 LVP loop and my RSPDX, and I set it in the hotel here in New Orleans. I was living in South Carolina. I was like, well, I don't know if I'll get a chance to DX in New Orleans again, so let's just set up in the hotel room and see what we get. And I didn't get great results for that particular one because I wasn't really set up very well. But yeah, whenever we go on a trip, we went to Vegas a couple years back. I had it set up to record AM and FM band there in Vegas in the hotel room in the condos we were staying in. And I have those recordings still to review as well. Whenever we go, I mean, I set it up to record, especially like at night for AM. I just let it sit there and record while we're out having fun. So it's not like I'm sitting there the entire time during the vacation just DXing the entire time, because that wouldn't go over well. But yeah, I will. I'll absolutely set that recording up and schedule it so it records, and then we go out and have fun and do all the touristy stuff that we were there for. But meanwhile, back in the hotel room, hopefully, I'm getting some good stuff on the SDR. So yes, the Air Spy and the U-Loop combo, the HF Plus Discovery and the U-Loop. That's what I took with me to DC, and literally electrically, he used electric tape to tape the U-Loop to the window, and I got a ton of DX that way. Lots of DX. Charles has got KTNN from his Southern California location. I'm assuming this is not who we're getting right now. Who is this on 660 right now? Yeah. I have no shot at KTNN right now. That can't be. I would think that's XECPR, but that's not their format. They usually, Radio Chan Santa Cruz, they're not running that kind of music. I hear them usually. I bet you that's XEFZ. I bet you that's exactly who that is. I bet say deport this. I bet you that's exactly who that is. Collapsible painter's pole. Yes, those are really good. I had to improvise on mine, and I did clothes hanger that was in the closet of the hotel room and electrical tape. And then when I wanted to turn it, I had a little piece of PVC, 3/4 inch PVC that I had cut into little pieces so I could break it down and easily put it in my luggage. Although sometimes TSA double checks that, so just beware. When they see PVC pipe in your luggage, you're like, what? I kind of use it to help kind of add a little extra bracing and framing to the luggage, but I actually took that PVC, I put it all together, and then I stuck it in one of my shoes as the base to hold it, and then I leaned that up and put that on top of the ottoman in the room, and then leaned that up against the curtains at the window. And that was when I wanted to go from this to this. From this to this. I just put that into the shoe and leaned up against the curtain. I got a lot of DX in DC that way. Ton. Hear the answer 660 in there. No sign of KTNN here on the at least on the low noise vertical. So that is kaput. I will check it real quick though on the. Yeah, see, on the southern-facing CAS, I'm getting something different. I'm getting Radio Chan Santa Cruz on the southern CAS. But that who could it be now? The minute work, that's got to be. Obviously, the port this. Got to be. quick. Bring an ID. Real quick, before we adjourn, let's take a look at our results from the country challenge, because this is amazing to me what you guys did. Because I was actually blown away. Let me double check, make sure there's no more cleanup work I have to do here. Nope, that's all good. Okay. 224 stations submitted, 159 unique. 15 of y'all submitting logs in the country challenge. 23 different states heard. Wasn't really the focus. 46 countries, though. 46 countries logged. Take care, Dan. 8,200 miles for the reception. We know who that was. Breaking his own record. I'm going to be putting this data in the larger all-season analysis data set tonight, by the way. Let's see here. Here's the map. 46 countries. That's crazy. That is crazy. Look at all those countries. 24 are from Barry. 19 from Ken out in Thailand. David up in Maine, 18. Sean with 10. Aiden with 7. Greg with 7. Dennis with 6. 5 for Neil. 4 for John. Out in Arizona, 4. 3 for Steven. 2 from Stephanie. David Flobman with 2 and Jacob with 2. And our mileage. Here's the score table. 190 points for Barry. Crazy. I think Ken, I got to adjust his. He got a country out there that has only one station on it in Maldives. So I got to adjust that. He'll be at 180. But yeah. Crazy. Crazy. Look at that. Look at Barry breaking his own record over and over and over and over. Oh, man. There you go. You guys crushed it. It was an amazing challenge. That's one of my favorite ones that we do. The country challenge is a lot of fun. So I'm glad we got to get that one in at a good time of the year to do it when we had some solar activity helping out a little bit. A couple of different directions and some good openings to Middle East and down under and down in Latin America. It was nice. Nice to see that log filling in. So now we turn our attention to the daytime. Again, 2 hours after your local sunrise, 2 hours before your local sunset. We're doing the daytime challenge between now and next Friday. And, anything you hear in that window, 2 hours after your local sunrise, 2 hours before your local sunset. Anything in that window that you hear is fair game. If it's a little bit of skywave, that's why we're doing it. Right? That's part of why we're doing it. Don't forget, Christmas song bingo still ravages on through the end of the year. So if you happen to come across any of those Christmas songs as you're DXing, play along with us. It's for fun. It's just for fun. Not really a challenge. It's just for fun. DX wish list. Tell you what's on mine. There was a little hint in the pre-show. Brazil, Bolivia, Uruguay. Those are my 3. And maybe I'll add in there now one transoceanic. Trans-Pacific, transatlantic. I'm not going to be picky. Something in a continent other than this particular one that I'm in right now. Or the southern version of it. No North America, no South America, no Caribbean. Something non-Western Hemisphere. There you go. That's the way we'll say it. Yeah, just something something all across the ocean would be nice in 2026. And Brazil, Bolivia, and Uruguay. Those 3. Especially Brazil, because apparently they're going to be going off of AM at some. I don't know. We'll see. That's going to do it for tonight. I have 2 weeks off, so I'll be doing a lot of antenna projects, probably some video work. So hopefully you guys will see some of that content on the YouTube channel. So if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, that's not the right one, youtube.com/@DXCentral, then I highly suggest that you do that because we'll be posting new videos up as we go along here. Now, our patrons are going to get first crack at them before anybody else does. Patreon.com/DXCentral if you want to be in that number. Get early access to videos and podcasts and stuff. I have a couple of podcast episodes I'm working on. I'm just waiting to hear back from people on rights and permissions and access for some clips that I want to include in them for a history of radio series we're working on. And I have another one that's going to be as a follow-up to my article from the Spectrum Monitor. So there's like 3 in the can right now. And then videos, we got a couple that we're working on as well. I was shooting one last night. I should be next week able to announce a new DX test. Another new DX test. I should be able to announce that next week. I would have announced it tonight, but we haven't finalized the details yet. But I should be able to announce a new DX test on next week's show. So stay tuned for that. You're going to want to be here for this one. Other than that, my friends, happy holidays to you all. Merry Christmas to you all. I hope that you have all of the family time, rest, relaxation. Sean, I hope you get swamped with DX in Southern Illinois. All kinds of DX. I hope that all of you find the DX that you wish for this year underneath your tree. So whether you celebrate the holidays or not, I hope this season brings you something good on the radio. For our patrons, patreon.com/DXCentral. Thank you to all of our patrons, our producers, executive producers, associate producers. You guys make a huge difference in helping us be able to keep the work that we do here at DX Central moving. To our sponsors, the National Radio Club, International Radio Club of America, and the Spectrum Monitor magazine. And from all of us here at DX Central, to all of you, take care, best of DX, happy holidays, and Merry Christmas. And we'll see you next week right here on DX Central Live. Take care.
This has been the DX Central from the Static Podcast. If you are interested in sponsoring this podcast, let us know by emailing sponsors@fromthestatic.net. If you have a story to share for our Stories from the Static series, send those to our email address, stories@fromthestatic.net. Be sure to join us for our live DX live stream every Friday night at 2345 UTC, 1845 Central Time on our YouTube channel or at dxcentrallive.com.
The DX Central From the Static podcast is copyright 2025, Lloyd Van Horn, DX Central. All rights reserved. No portion of this podcast may be rebroadcast or reused without the express written authorization of Lloyd Van Horn and DX Central. Be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, as new episodes will be posted regularly. Join us next time for the DX Central From the Static podcast.